Hello, this is Nicole Monahan with Monahan Studio. I have some things I picked up out of the forest today. Got some holly and some pine needles, some pine cones. Here's another kind. And one of my favorites is lichen. Very cool. Has vitamin D in it, in case you want to know that. And so we're going to talk a little bit. Oh, let me show you this. So it is close to the holidays, if you are watching this in current time. These are some little tags. People like to make gift tags, and say you're doing a lot of them, so you don't want to spend tons of time, but you want them to look cool. So doing ink and watercolor can be a really fun option. So this one just has watercolor in the background, and it's some lichen on branches in the front with ink. And this is just some holly, some nice loose holly, no background, just a little bit of watercolor wash on the front. I'm going to show you how to do a pine cone. First thing about art is you want to observe, right? So if we're going to do a nice loose drawing, we want it to look like a pine cone without having to put a lot of details into it. So what makes this a pine cone? It's narrow at the top, it gets wider in the middle, and more narrow at the bottom. And look at each one of these. They're small at the top, and they get wider and wider and wider. They're really wide down here towards the bottom, and then they start getting more narrow again and smaller. Another thing to look at is what shape do you see? So there's a lot of these, right? And if we want to make a very detailed drawing, that could take a really long time and look cool, but we want to do a nice loose drawing. So what general shape are these? If you look at this, when I look at these, I see a smile, like a bottom lip of a smile. So that's what I'm going to draw. And as long as I have this general shape of being narrow to really wide to narrow, it'll look like a pine cone. So we are going to start. I'm going to scoot these up a little bit here. And we'll start. Make sure you can see where I'm at. Oh, there's a little dried up spider. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to start at the top and just do a little squiggle for the top. And then we're going to come down and we'll do a couple more squiggles. Now pine cones are not very uniform. Look at these. They're one spaced out and one is close together. So you can make yours however you want. But see how I'm just making some smiles? Smile, it's just the bottom lip. And they don't have to all be the same, but they're kind of all angling in towards the middle. Right? They grow out from the middle. And as I'm coming down, I'm making them bigger and wider and a little bit more spaced out as I'm coming down. Now another thing, if you're wanting to make this a little bit more detailed, you can go straight in. So I do a smile and straight in. Smile and in. And this way we kind of form each one of, oops, we want to make that go in this direction. So it looks like it's growing out. Think of maybe the spokes of a wheel, how things grow in, or the spokes of the wheel go in. Okay, now I'm about at the widest part, so I'm going to come in a little bit now. So I'm doing my lips, my smiles, but I'm not going to go all the way out. I'm going to stop. And then now I'm just going to do some that are small, because once you get to the bottom, they're pretty small. Oh, I think I'm going to add another one over here to make it a little bit wider. So there's our little simple pine cone. And you can add a little splash of water, well, you could put a splash of water on it. I'm going to add some watercolor. So I'm going to grab some brown, and I spent all that time being loose. I want to still be loose, so I'm just doing some little dabs of color. don't really have to stay in the lines because I'm doing this nice and loose. Oops, I grabbed the wrong brown, but that's okay. There's lots of different browns on our pine cone. There we go. So we may want to add, I'm going to do a little bit brighter in a few places just so we get a little bit of interest going on there. It's always nice to have a few different colors of, say you're doing brown, several different colors. I'm going to move this a little closer here. So there's my pine cone. And so that's it. You could leave it just as a pine cone, poke a hole in it. Got a hole punch here. Could poke a hole in it. Put a ribbon through, and then you're done. There's your pine cone. All right. Hope you guys have a nice time doing your gift tags. I'll see you next time. Again, this is Nicole Monahan with Monahan Studio. Bye.